You're listening to Wire, Wentworth Internet Radio Experience, from the campus of Wentworth Institute of Technology. This show does not represent Wire, the colleges of the Fenway, or Wentworth Institute of Technology in any way. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at wire@wit.edu.
Welcome back to the Monstrous Peen Laboratory. It's our spooky-themed episode.
Spooky Halloween, even though we don't have...
No, that's all. That's the whole spookiness.
That's all?
For the evening.
It's just the title. It's just a...
We got more beverages this time. Ginger ale.
Tasty. Well,
It's good ginger ale. Ooh.
it's pretty good. It's kind of... it weirdly tastes like a cider, like apple cider.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets
Which
it
is
like
odd.
after. All right. Welcome back to our little show. I'm Tyler.
I'm Matt. And this is us.
I've already said the...
And here we are, the large, monstrous Peen Laboratories.
Yeah. We got some stuff to talk about.
Do we?
We do. I made a new list.
What's the title of your list, Tyler?
Well, I made a list of things I'm afraid of this week.
Perfect. Just in time.
It's a very spooky episode. So actually, more spooky theme than me. I didn't plan it this way, but we're going to pretend that I did.
Okay.
Cut that part out of the live. Just cut that one sentence out.
That one sentence, you got it, Tyler.
Yeah. First on the list, elephant-sized bears.
Now that's scary.
That's some spooky bear action.
So are any of your fears like of real things, or is it just
Well,
you're just
you'll
scared of
see.
the idea of things?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm definitely scared of the idea of elephant. Can you imagine, Matt? This boy weighs tons.
Wow.
He's coming at you, like like that scene in Jurassic Park where the water shakes.
Hmm.
It's that, but it's your bladder, and it's running full hog at your Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, because see, like the T-Rex was like slowly, is like 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. He wasn't like booking it, but like this bear would be really charging you.
Yeah, if it's elephant sized, I can't see another way.
Yeah, like I don't feel like if a bear is stalking its prey, it's not really going slow. Like a bear, once a bear sees you, bears are pretty confident enough where they're just like, I'm going for it right now.
Bears aren't really the stealthy type. I don't
No. So you'd be essentially vibrating. You'd be like a phone.
You'd be a phone that got recently called.
Yeah.
In a similar vein to the last item on the list, Matthew, I have bear-sized bears.
Those are also actually very scary. Yeah.
Yeah, bears are really big. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a bear to be in here right now.
Have you seen the like videos of people who get like mauled by bears? Like they'll be recording the bear and then the bear mauls the person recording.
No.
Like there was a guy who like got mauled by a bear. He's just beefy Minnesota guy, and he friggin' drove himself to the hospital after getting mauled by a bear.
I mean,
He had like he had an open head wound, like a massive head wound.
Did he like sew it up too?
I don't know. I think
He was
just
also
like,
the doctor. At the
oh man,
hospital.
I don't know what else to do right now.
Matt, naturally progressing down in size, I would say I'm still afraid of man-sized bears.
Okay. Man-sized bears are still scary, but not quite as scary. Because, like, a man you can take on because he's built for the same stuff as us. He's not the best at killing. He's made to be smart. That's how humans evolved. Bears are meant to kill. That's the only thing they have. They don't have to worry about spending extra energy on their brain and stuff.
Yeah, they don't have very much brain.
No, they look at you and they kill you.
Mostly.
Let me tell you, you know what else
nowadays.
is shockingly small but also very scary is wolverines.
Wolverines.
Wolverines are
I've heard of
insane.
wolverines.
They have like the strongest like jaw strength of any animal. They'll just lock down on you. There's nothing you can do about it. And they can they're like the cockroaches of mammals where they can pretty much just survive anything. Like wolverines attack bears.
Yikes.
So like you were scared of bears? Wolverines would kick a bear's ass, dude.
I mean, you said they'd attack bears. You didn't say they'd win.
They will win. Like, bears run away when they see a Wolverine because they're just like, it's not worth it. Like, I might make it out of this, but it's not worth the fight. Wolverines.
Read me some facts
They could be
about the
20 to 55 pounds, a stocky and muscular carnivore resembling a small bear.
Well, you know what? That sounds a little bit like a man-sized bear to me, Matt.
It has a reputation for ferocity and strength out of proportion to its size, with the documented ability to kill prey many times larger than itself.
Interesting. Matt, it's funny you should say that. Believe it or not.
Wolves kill wolverines.
That's because wolves are smarter than wolverines, probably. Right?
I guess. Let's see what else. It's powerful and versatile predator. Mainly consists of small to medium size, such as adult deer. It can take out an adult deer, bison, moose, elk,
Wow.
caribou.
Caribou.
They kill lynxes
Interesting. It's funny you should talk about
as well as geese.
a small, vicious animal, Matt.
Yes?
Because in a similar vein, I'm also afraid of itty bitty little teeny weeny bears.
Like teddy bears?
Like real tiny little bears,
Like baby bears.
like
Like gummy bears size bears.
like
Like water bears.
like they're gonna get in your bloodstream bears.
Yeah, like water bears. Those like the little microscopic.
Yeah, but I'm not afraid of water bears.
Do you know what a water bear is?
I do. They survive anything, but they don't really do much other than that.
Water bears on the moon. Water bears are the toughest animal that Earth can possibly produce. Wow.
And these little itty bitty tiny weeny bears, man.
Yes.
Imagine them getting into your brain, biting your brain, mauling your intestines.
Mauling my intestines, causing irreparable damage to nerve endings.
If you could get a posse, maybe a collection, a gaggle of these tiny itty bitty
bears.
tiny little weeny bears,
Beers?
bears.
This will be the next form of warfare.
Tiny bears.
This is going to have to be, we're going to have to, how do we contact the Geneva Convention?
How do
and
we
let them know this has to be proactively banned?
How do weaponize tiny bear?
Micro bears. The U.S. military is working on micro bears that they will release on hordes of enemies. They get mauled from the inside.
Yeah, how many micro bears could you fight, Matt?
How many micro bears?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the data on micro bears is pretty limited, and I mean, obviously, as they become more
Accessible to the consumer market.
yeah, and more frequently used in combat and whatnot, I think I'll be able to better judge my standing against a swarm of micro bears. But at the moment, I'm not entirely sure.
So what I'm thinking is against bears, right? Usually you'd use a bear trap, right?
Right.
So your immune system needs to develop its own form of bear trap, right? Tiny little itty bitty bear traps to catch the tiny little itty bitty bears. And
But
they'll
what if they
snap shut.
go off in your blood vessels? Because the other problem with bear traps is that sometimes people get caught in bear traps, and then they get their legs amputated.
It's a good point.
What if you have to get your artery amputated?
What if it snatches on a red blood cell?
And you lose one red blood cell.
Shame.
But think about the pain that red blood cell is going through.
Yeah. You probably didn't think about the little guy, did you, Matt?
He was just trying to carry some oxygen for me.
And now
He's
he's
caught in
been
a bear
hoisted
trap.
by his own petard. So, Matt, I don't know if you've been getting the trend here on the list of things I'm afraid of. But the next item is bears. Bears are spooky.
Is this whole list just bears?
No.
Do you have any non-bear items? So what you just said to me was a lie, is what you're saying. You just lied to me, to my face.
Intimacy.
Intimacy. Perfect. Your girlfriend's listening, right? She listens live.
She does listen live, usually.
Perfect.
intimacy. It's real spooky. I don't want to be in the rough with anybody. I think
What scares you about it, Tyler?
it's just.
Sin?
Well, I'm afraid there's gonna be bears down there.
Especially those micro bears. You got to watch out.
Yeah, it's actually a new STD passing around called micro bears.
That's what they always say is wrap your willy or you'll get mauled by bears.
Put a rubber on it,
Or else bears.
or else bears. Beware of bears.
Don't
I was trying
feed
to
the
think
bears.
I was trying to think of a pun. I couldn't think of one.
Yeah. Did you know we almost got hit by an asteroid?
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
I heard that we were going to a few years ago. I guess it happened.
It happens every once in a while. But it was it happened like today,
Oh wow.
and it was a near miss, but it was traveling 27,000 miles per hour.
That's pretty fast.
But it was too small to do anything, so it wouldn't have really mattered if it hit us anyways, but it almost hit us. So
It's such an anticlimax.
yeah.
Imagine.
Well, I just looked up.
What's that movie where they have to go out there and they have to stop the asteroid from hitting Earth?
It's got like Bruce Willis and Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, imagine that, but it's just a tiny asteroid that wouldn't have done any damage.
Tom Hanks.
And it ends up missing anyways.
Asteroid. No. Tom Hanks asteroid movie. They just gave me like an asteroid that was like, is this the asteroid it was based on, or like?
Is there an asteroid named Tom Hanks?
Yeah, was there one named after Tom Hanks? Oh yeah, there is literally one. It's called 12818 Tom Hanks. But they won't give me the friggin' movie. He was in the Polar Express. Everybody, there's definitely like a million. There's nobody listening. But if they were listening, they'd all be very upset that we don't know the name of this movie.
They'd be really upset.
Because they know it. They know it.
They do.
They have it in their head right now. They know exactly the movie we're talking about. And
It's
they can't
not
believe that we
Interstellar.
don't know. No, that was like
Not the same people at all, Matt, in that one.
not even.
I can't believe you
cool.
suggested it.
Is it Apollo 13?
Apollo 13 is an actual...
No, there's a
It's a-
movie though.
Yeah, it's about a space mission that actually happened. To the moon, Matt.
Right.
Excuse me? Is it Apollo 13?
Shut up. You don't know anything. Is it Saving Private Ryan?
It's not Saving Private Ryan!
No. That was a joke. My big fat Greek wedding?
Maybe you should stop reading Tom Hanks' discography and Google, like, asteroid saving planet movies.
Asteroid Saving Planet movie. Armageddon.
That's got to be the one.
That's the one. It's got Bruce Willis right on the cover. Was Tom Hanks in that?
I don't think so.
Was I completely off?
It's
I
probably
know
Tim
he wasn't
Allen.
at all.
It's Tim Allen in that.
But let me tell you, Steve Buscemi was.
Oh, wow.
He's a real guy.
It's such a nothing statement. You know Steve Buscemi? He's real.
He's a real. No, not he's real. He's a real guy.
He's a real fortunate guy, Matt Jones.
There's pictures of Sean Diddy Combs, otherwise known as P. Diddy, in association with Armageddon. Was he in it?
Possibly. Matt Jones, all these people are real fortunate people, right?
Yeah.
Which reminds me of something.
What?
The next item on my spooky list.
Is it bears?
It's giving money to the less fortunate.
You're terrified of that?
I'm terrified. What are they going to do with it, Matt? Food? I don't know about it.
They're actually sending it straight back to ISIS.
That's one of the fears. Another fear is that they might be sending it to, like a pro-bear organization that exists out there.
They actually pool their money together and breed bears.
Breed bears and bring them into the city.
We really need to get some investigative reporting on this and to uncover the homeless bear breeder rings.
Yeah, it's honestly shocking that this kind of thing can still happen in the world.
In 2019.
And The
We
media
still
says
have-
nothing about it.
We still have homeless bear breeders wreaking havoc among the city of Boston.
They must be stopped.
They
If, I'm the,
they
if
need
the
to be
big PP
stopped.
company is going to be the people to do it,
And you know, you can do your part. Stop giving money to the homeless. Every dollar that you give to a homeless man goes directly into the pockets of a big old grizzly bear.
every penny you put down to someone who has less money than you are, you might as well be putting all of your red blood cells in tiny little bear traps.
Well said.
And in a similar vein, Matthew Jones,
Yes.
I don't like receiving money from the more fortunate. Is it some kind of bribe? I'm not a charity, Matthew Jones.
Plus, you feel obligated to give it to a bear.
Yeah, every time I get money from somebody, I'm like, well, this has to go towards the bear fund. I'm restricted by law. It's not a well-known law, but it is around.
It's in. It's actually a really old Massachusetts law when they were trying to because back then bears were endangered species, and so they were trying to.
They were really concerned about endangered species back in like the 1700s, I think it was.
Yeah, they were trying to conserve the bear population, and so they made this law where if anybody who was more fortunate than you gave you any money, you had to directly donate that to a bear breeding fund, and this law has gone unchecked and is frankly gone out of control.
It's antiquated. Let's put it frankly. It's an antiquated law.
And I've listened to all these Democratic debates. Haven't heard a single one bring it up.
That's a fact.
Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts has not mentioned a single word about it.
The bear menace plaguing the streets of Boston cannot continue to go unaddressed.
While these politicians sit idly by.
They're probably giving their money to poor people left and right.
They're probably getting money from the bears.
It's a cold business, Matt. These bears are out there selling drugs in the corners.
The Grizzly Bear Industrial Complex.
You don't have to donate your money immediately, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to do it eventually, which brings me to my crippling debt problem. I'm indebted to the bears.
You're indebted to the bear.
And I'm afraid of financial ruin due to the bear menace.
The bear mafia.
The Bafia.
The Bartel.
The Biad.
The Bob.
The Bob. When the Bob comes through, Matt, how am I going to pay them off?
Bad boy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Bob boys.
Wow.
Wow.
So we're half an hour in. We should have had. I was supposed to have a friend call in.
Yeah, this is when we would have had a guest star.
We would have actually been perfectly prepared,
Right.
just up until now, to have this come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't happen.
Want to just grab some loser from out there?
Not particularly.
No.
Usually random. You need to because I know this friend that wanted to call in, and he will call in eventually.
Next week.
Or come up, yeah, hopefully next week. Is actually really funny.
Mm-hmm.
If you just grab some random person off the side of the road, they could just bring the whole show down. Like, remember the first guest we had on?
Oh, that guy. What was his name? Like
Mark.
Matt? Was
Marcus.
it also Matt? Marcus? I feel like it was Mike.
Whatever it was.
All right, so Mike
was a massive detriment to the show.
He honestly, he creeped me out the whole time he was here.
Yeah, he kept touching my thigh.
He kept writing slurs on the board and then thrusting his pelvis provocatively at me.
He kept trying to he would wear the same color as the chairs in the room, and then he would
Try to convince you to sit on him.
Yeah, he thought that he was invisible somehow, and that I would just sit down on the chair.
It works. It fooled me once, sure, but I'm not getting fooled again.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, he's not here right now.
Yeah, luckily.
It's our first episode without him here, unless he's gotten really good at that whole chair camouflage thing.
Yeah, he's in the room right now with us.
He's actually... Oh my god! I'm sitting on him.
So they just put new like Tempur-Pedic cushions on these chairs. And it was actually Mike.
Mike. Mike's the king of camouflage, though. We gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
Much like I'm the king of bears, Matthew Jones.
I thought you were beholden to the bears.
The bears
The
are
bears are the king of you.
the bears are a menace, Matthew.
Okay. So if you're the king of the bears, you can put a stop to it.
But I still got that debt problem, right?
But if you're the king, you can't be indebted to the bears. The bears are indebted to you.
Is that how that works? Matt, the list of bear mafia politics is just far too complicated for someone like you to ever comprehend.
I
But
apologize for attempting.
But it brings me to my next point.
Okay.
I'm afraid of having my throne usurped by maybe a competing bear man.
So you're scared of rival bear kings?
Yeah, I am, Matt. What if they come in? What if the New York Bears come to Boston?
Well, then I
What
guess
are we gonna
you
do then? What about those Canada Bears?
You've, I don't know. See if the U.S. will sell you weapons.
I'm not in a foreign country. They don't sell weapons to domestic.
Yeah, but
groups.
you're a king of your own sovereign bear land.
That's true, but my bearland is Boston. They might have a problem with that.
Okay. See if
The Russians, however,
the Russians,
the Russians would be
the Chinese,
more than happy. You don't want Chinese weapons, though. Plastic, right?
Yeah. Well, they have huge knife attacks in China. They gotta have some real quality knives. You want to go knife to knife with a bear?
There's a guy who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Bowie knives.
Yeah.
It's that fucking guy.
The guy who made the Bowie knife,
Yeah.
David Bowie.
It wasn't David Bowie. It might have been David Bowie, but it wasn't that David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie's a little light to be tussling with a bear.
No, it was a guy like that. He killed a bear with a knife.
Who
He was like mauled in the wild.
invented the Bowie knife? Bowie knife.
He's like a corporal or something.
John Bowie. Nope. Resin P. Bowie. The brother of Alamo hero James Bowie claimed that he made the first Bowie knife, while the Bowies lived in some place in Louisiana. He designed it as a hunting knife and gave it to James for protection after his brother had been shot in a fight. So your brother got shot, and you were like, "Here,
Bring this knife to a gunfight."
You need a knife." Well, it obviously worked out real well for him in the Alamo.
Don't forget about it.
Never forget the Alamo.
Never forget the Alamo.
It's the Alamo 9/11.
The Alamo is like the Alamo of 9/11.
That
It took you a while to
I
figure
can't
out
even begin to comprehend what that means.
If you were in the bear mafia, you'd understand. It's an inside joke.
It's bear culture.
Yeah.
The bear community.
Terrible people, the bears. Don't ever go out for drinks with a bear.
That's racism.
It's true.
But they are really stingy.
Yeah, these bears are coming over here and like taking our jobs from us and getting money from the bear mafia.
Lost
on
my
top of
job
it,
to a bear.
they don't even need those jobs. Bears. Really hammering on about this bear point.
And let me tell you, bears cross the border. They're never checked. They never look at their passports.
They're giving bears driver's licenses now, Matt.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's insane.
Teaching them how to ride a unicycle and whatnot.
Matt, I'm gonna be level with you right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay it down flat, lay it down smooth,
Lay it down flat and smooth.
put it up frank,
I don't
break
think
it down for you.
Frank deserves any of that.
I'm afraid of having my worldview torn away from me. This bear-related construct we've created. I think it's fictional.
You think? Okay.
I don't
So
think,
you're saying we've been spinning a tale this whole time?
like a deception, maybe.
Like some sort of fiction.
Matt, I've never seen a bear in real life.
Me neither. Actually, no, that's a lie. At the Mystic Aquarium in Mystic, Connecticut,
Why was there a bear in the aquarium?
they had polar bears, and perhaps black bears.
I might have seen it there too then, but I don't remember it, so I must have been really young.
They also have beluga whales. Did you know
Beluga whales?
in recent westerly news, a baby dolphin washed up dead in the westerly beach? That's it.
Why?
I don't know. They don't know why it died, but they reached out. The reason it made me think of this is they reached out to the Mystic Aquarium to see if they could figure out why it died, and I didn't follow up with that story, so I don't have my glasses on. I can't read that at all. Speaking of sex offenders.
Well, no, not speaking of sex offenders, but speaking of local
Sex offenders.
news articles. We got in trouble for the first podcast.
Yeah. Well, we didn't
But-
really get in trouble. We just
No.
we had a couple audience members complain, but
We did.
who
There
needs an
were a
audience?
couple of brothers, apparently, in North Smithfield, a town not too far, nor too dissimilar from my own, busted for video voyeurism.
So they're registered sex offenders.
They would be. They
They are.
Apparently, they put cameras on some power lines to look into people's bedrooms and bathrooms,
Yikes.
where they'd be bare naked.
Jesus Christ. Are you turning this
We should do some more
this
research about
horrible
that.
crime into a joke? Let me tell you about Antonio Lasaga.
No, not Antonio Lazaga.
Did you know Guy Fieri just opened up a new restaurant in Boston?
Why
What do you mean why? It opened today.
did it? Grand
Yeah.
opening of
Grand
Fieri?
opening.
Does Guy Fieri have a convention
A convention? No.
like FieriCon?
Fieri Con? No.
FieriCon.
Guy Week.
Guy Week. Guy Weekly. Is
They have
his blog.
it. They have it on like Discovery Channel. It's like it's right after Shark Week. They have Shark Week and
Right
then they have Guy Week.
Then they have Bear Week.
And they have Bear Week. Really zigzagging.
Well, man, we definitely know what the from sharks to Guy to bears. We've got you covered.
Who would win in a
Discovery Channel.
fight? Guy Fieri, a great white shark, or a bear?
Probably.
And because they're each from different like terrains,
Right.
like bears are on land, sharks are in the sea,
And
guys in the kitchen.
Guys in a sleazy.
They have to fight in the sky to make it fair, to put it on a level playing field.
That does make sense. Like falling from like,
A plane or something.
or in like low Earth orbit.
So that way, because the shark's going to start suffocating as soon as it's out of the water, right?
But the people are going to start suffocating as soon as they're.
In low Earth orbit. So now they're all suffocating, so it's even more even.
I feel like they're all just going to die.
Yeah, but it's all about who dies first.
Okay, so.
And let me tell you, Guy Fieri takes some big bites, so he's got to know how to hold his breath for a long time.
I think those two things are related and do make sense as a correlation between each other.
Yeah.
I need to know what kind of shark, what kind of bear, what form
Great white
has
grizzly.
Guy Fieri taken.
Guy Fieri in the classic flame shirt with a pair of green sunglasses.
Oh, that puts it over the edge. It's gonna be Guy every time.
It's going to be Guy every time.
Actually, you know what? Because he has that Flavortown Ultra, right?
Flavortown Ultra.
Yeah. He gives him like an extra like 20 to charisma, right?
Yeah.
Which is gonna come in handy in the space.
Charisma is definitely a necessary tool in a space fight versus a grizzly and a great white.
Yeah. I'd say so. You could probably talk the bear out of eating him. Convince the bear to fight the shark.
Yeah. He'd just bring a bunch of his sauces with him, drench the bear in sauces, drench the shark in sauces. Which one?
What if the
Drench them both in sauces. They're both going at each other.
How much sauce
Guy-
did he bring up?
Guy Fieri is the least appealing now of the two.
His
Now
sauces are
sauced
pretty
beasts.
good. We
Yeah.
had his root beer barbecue.
It was pretty darn good. I mean, it was barbecue sauce.
It was barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I didn't taste the root beer at all.
No, I mean, you're not supposed to taste. I don't think like it's just like it's not supposed to taste like root beer, but it's supposed to like get some sort of flavoring from because it's like cooked with root beer, right? Just like cooking with beer. Like it doesn't necessarily taste exactly like beer, but you get a certain flavor by cooking with beer.
Right, but didn't really taste any of it. It kind of just tasted like barbecue sauce.
What do you know?
I don't know. I
Don't
ate
you
it.
dare blaspheme
Don't
Guy
be
Fieri.
blaspheming around here.
Guy Fieri's barbecue sauce.
I'm getting
Anyways,
calls from you know that guy Mike.
Mike,
I keep getting calls from him.
what's he want?
I don't know. Should I call him back?
Marijuana found in a man's nose 18 years after he smuggled it into prison. That marijuana was up there for 18 years.
Is that? Do you think that's past the statute of limitations?
I think so. Well, actually, it was still on him, so it's actually possession.
Oh, he's been possessed this whole time.
Yeah, he's been possessing marijuana everywhere he goes.
It's such a shame what this country's come to.
There's a young man who died of a drug overdose while he was locked up by Boston police.
Now, you can't just bring up news articles when we have reached a lack of material. What'd you do this week? We forgot to ask that question. What'd you do this week, Matt? How was your week? This is the one question we ask every time. I forgot to ask it.
I worked, and I went to a movie today. It's called Countdown. It was a horror movie.
Was it good?
No. But you know what was good?
No.
My favorite comedian, Tom Segura, was in the movie. He was phenomenally funny. And there was even a little cameo with his wife at the end of the movie, like one of those little post-credits scenes.
Right.
His wife was there. His wife was his date, his Tinder date at the end of the movie. It was a really cool little throw in there, and he was real funny.
Very interesting.
He was like, it was super good.
I was making resumes this week, and it got me thinking about the perfect resume.
Okay.
I'm thinking this resume is more like a stat sheet than a resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got like this like infographic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got some brightly colored bars with all the most important stats that you would bring to the table for that company.
HP, stamina.
Yeah, so you got HP and stamina, obviously HP and stamina. Then you got, charisma right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, probably like 1 out of 5 or whatever. Then you got, right after that, teamwork.
Stealth.
Stealth is going to be in there, but I think it's probably going to be further down.
It's only necessary if you're like applying to the CIA or something like that.
Yeah, stealth isn't a big one here.
Civil engineers don't need to be too stealthy, huh?
They don't. I think
they're known for their stealth.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that you don't want.
Is a stealthy civil engineer.
A stealthy civil engineer. You won't be able to find the bridge.
Yeah.
And then you got...
They'll never know what hit them.
You're going to want intelligence on there, right? But you don't want it just to be a hard intelligence stat because that's really going to put off employers. It's going to seem like bragging. What you're going to want is maybe a stupidity stat. And you want to get it as low as you can, right? So instead of like intelligence of 4.
Oh, okay. So you're
5,
wording it differently.
You'd put a stupidity stat of just 1.
0 stupidity.
And then, well, 0 is unbelievable. That's insane. There's never been a man on earth with 0 stupidity.
I would say I have 0 stupidity.
Obviously cut out. I think that just gave you 1. Just then. You're at 2 now. The only man on this great green earth with 0 stupidity is Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. 0 stupidity.
0 stupidity.
He's the last one you'd expect.
Yeah, well, the stats don't lie, Matt.
Okay.
Including the following, and though this is probably the most important stat for what I'd be doing with my resume, right? And that's definitely going to be max kegels. The total amount of kegels that I can do in a single set.
How do male people do kegels?
You get erect, Matthew Jones.
You get erect.
Then you take a towel,
A towel.
not like a hand towel,
Hand towel.
You
So a
wet
small
it.
towel.
and then you put it on there, and then you lift it up and down using just the force of your erection. Because
How does
you
this-
can do a little bit of wiggling with it, and you do
So
that.
I understand how this would be helpful for females. Can you inform me how this would be helpful for a male?
It's gonna
be.
It's definitely gonna be related to like your jumping stat and like
It's gonna help you jump. Get a little
And-
extra force in there, a little propulsion.
and I mean, honestly, there's so many stats you don't even have to list because that's in there, like job experience.
Definitely negative to the stupidity stat.
Yep. It totally replaces the job experience.
Studies
stat.
show
Yeah, and the education stat, we don't need that.
those with the strongest peepees.
That's a fact.
Are
And here at the
usually the
Big
least
PP Company, we get sets of 600, 700 in.
Yeah, there's no excuse to have a small peepee, because
You can just get ripped.
yeah, you think we were born with peepees like this? No, it took a lot of hard work.
And if you aren't willing to put in the work, then you're not going to see the results.
8 hours a day.
8 hours.
You have to treat it like a full-time job if you want a big peepee.
Well, this is where the stealth stat comes in.
Right.
Because you want to hide the fact that you're doing kegels in,
And
in your mom's room,
under your cubicle desk.
in your grandma's room, in your other mom's room.
How many moms you got?
I don't know, like 3 or 4. That's not weird, man.
Did you do it in all their rooms?
I find it's a really calming place to do it.
That's wonderful.
It's good for focus.
Do you think it makes it harder to do you think it adds a challenge?
Well, I mean, because in addition to the weight of the towel, you have to be lifting the emotional baggage this time.
Right.
From all those other times you were in there, and you didn't have your stealth stat quite as high, and that you weren't crouched when your mom came in, so she could see you.
Apparently, it's not vaccines that cause autism. It's Tylenol.
You know
So
what
if you take Tylenol while you're pregnant with a child, you'll be autistic. Your child will be autistic. So if you ever get pregnant, Tyler, don't take Tylenol.
Sorry, guys, I moved the mic around. It was real obnoxious.
Yeah, it was a little noisy.
You know what? I need to add a new thing to my list.
What are you adding to your list?
Tylenol.
You're scared of Tylenol now because of its link to autism.
It's probably got bears in there, right?
Yeah, it's covered in Tylenol is filled with micro bears, which are usually used to maul the inflammation, but instead, if you're pregnant,
It mauls the baby.
it mauls the little fetus inside there, and it makes it autistic.
Which is totally okay, but it's preventable.
Yeah, it's not the desirable outcome.
So I just noticed something on the board, Matthew Jones, if you turn around. It says mic layout. Someone's drawn the mic layout. All well and good. All these mics are labeled at the bottom.
Right.
Who's coming in this studio? Being like, oh, what mic switch? I don't know. And not just look at it and saying it. Do they need something on the board?
Because honestly, the one on the board is harder to figure out.
Yeah, especially since this one's 2 and this one's 3 and the end of the table's over there.
It's strangely oriented based on where the whiteboard is and where the table is. So it doesn't seem all that helpful to figuring out which microphone.
If the 2 is closer to the 3,
Especially,
and the 1
yeah.
is closer to the 4, it would be better.
Like you said, the mics have the numbers on them. So it doesn't seem like it would necessarily be all that necessary to have the additional.
Because our views aren't reflective of Wire's views, I'm going to say that was a bad call.
It was a bad call. Whoever is responsible for the mic layout visual in the Wire studio,
You're not being
we will
hired.
be coming for you.
Yeah, you're not being hired for that infographic thing I was talking about earlier.
And we're sending millions of microscopic bears your way.
And we're sending millions of dollars to the Bob.
To the Bob.
Right to the Bob.
Well,
Wow. That was a That was a crazy podcast. What did we talk about today, Matt?
We talked about technical difficulties. We talked about bears. We talked a lot about bears. We talked about sex offenders, and
We did not talk about sex offenders that much.
we talked about sex
briefly
offenders a
mentioned
little
them.
bit.
We briefly mentioned them.
They're in Rhode Island, right? They're Rhode Island sex offenders.
They were our favorite kind.
Yeah, that is the best kind of sex offender. If you're going to be a sex offender, you might as well be a Rhode Island sex offender.
It does make
That's what I always say. All sex offenders, please move to Rhode Island. We want you here.
He does say that a lot, concerningly often.
Rhode Island first. Make America, make Rhode Island,
Oh, you know what? I still have one more factoid to share.
make Rhode Island sex offensive again.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, Tyler lost his fact.
I did. I lost my little fact. It was a really good fact, too. You guys would have really liked it if I could have told you, but now you'll never know.
We don't know the fact. Do you know? Can you give us an estimation of the fact so we can all be misinformed?
You know how, guys, you know how I always tell you about countries? Usually I try to do that. I did it once, and I told you guys I was going to do it every time, and then I didn't do it the next episode. Well, I had another little segment on a country, and I'm almost there.
He's making it. He's doing it. I see him looking at things. He's for sure doing something. He's interacting with his cellular device.
Matt, I need you to look at little country. Google a little country called Burkina Faso.
It's in Africa.
It is. And now
I
I
think
need
that's what those. Isn't that what the hyenas were named in Madagascar?
I don't know.
I don't think so at all. But it was close.
Are you talking about the Fusa from Madagascar?
The Fusa. That's what they are.
From Madagascar.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Now
Fusa.
Now you need to tell me what the capital of that country is.
Ouagadougou.
Turn it around for me, Matt.
Ouagadougou.
Turn it around for me. That right there. Wait, where is it? It is Ouagadougou.
Is that the actual pronunciation?
That is the pronunciation that I was told.
I'm gonna copy paste this. We have the capability to play the actual
Never before heard.
pronunciation on. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. We have an ad. Video will play after this ad. Disney's trying to advertise their streaming service. And you know what, Disney? You're not paying us, so we're not paying you any mind. Don't get the Disney streaming service. This is the official position of Wire.
Ouagadougou.
Tyler, I know you
Don't
didn't
give
hear that.
bears money. Do not give bears
I'm going to play this over the speakers for Tyler. Let's play that one more time. Let's hear that. DJ, run that back.
Ouagadougou.
Phenomenal.
Ouagadougou.
Don't we love other cultures and the way they do things?
And this is gonna be probably the end of our podcast. We don't have outro music this week.
At least not live. You'll hear it when you're listening to it everywhere else. But if you're listening to it right the moment that we're saying these words,
You aren't gonna hear the music.
so actually, instead of what I said before to the live listeners, which you non-live listeners will not hear, screw the live listeners. You don't get music. You don't contribute to our stats, so you don't get music. Screw you guys.
Shouldn't you be saying screw the non-live viewers?
No, the non-live viewers are bumping our stats up.
But they aren't gonna hear this, so we could shit talk them.
They are going to hear this.
They're all.
They're going to hear the end. They're not going to hear all the good things we said about the live listeners.
No.
So they won't know the hypocrisy of the statements we've made.
Well, Matt, it's really approaching 11. We're gonna call it here. I'm gonna say, I'm Matt,
Keep those. I'm Tyler. Keep those peepees monstrous,
and
and don't let them out of the lab.
say yes to the dress.